As the prophet of esports, I rely on trustworthy and meaningful data every day. Data from our research partner YouGov offers the most complete view of esports fans and gamers in the world, providing context to who they are, what they think, the brands they buy, and things they do. YouGov's connected insights and research services inform strategy at every level. If you're a team, a brand, agency, or rights holder, you should be talking with YouGov. Their partners measure and maximize ROI and are telling compelling stories with data. Visit yougov.com/gaming-esports to learn more. Let's talk about New World now. And this one was the headline. I just love the headline. It was so eye-catching to me. And the headline here is Amazon CEO says video games could become the largest entertainment business. And it was eye-catching to me because I'm like, wait a second, isn't video games already the largest entertainment business?
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
So, you know, there's a whole conversation around here. Does Amazon CEO really know that much about video games if he thinks it's going to get there? But a lot of this is off the back of the success of New World. This, for some reason, my login's not working here, but the Bloomberg article basically said that New World is obviously the biggest game success Amazon has had. The initial numbers are looking massive, and everyone's talking about the game. Everyone's streaming the game, and the CEO of Amazon thinks now gaming is a real thing. Now, is this just a case, I'm curious what you guys think, of CEO's a little bit behind the curve and, you know, he had to see success on his doorstep to believe that gaming is where they wanted to go or needed to go? Or, William, go ahead.
Oh, I'm just jumping in. Sorry.
No, go ahead. Yeah.
I am starting. I think it's two things, right? I think it's pretty simple. One is it's a little behind the curve, I think, in the sense that I just don't think games was on their radar the same way like a traditional entertainment, particularly streaming was, like streaming television and like properties, right? Just look at where Amazon was investing before, like Lord of the Rings, right? Like it just wasn't their focus, right? So, but then the second piece of it is like, you never want to say that the largest thing is something your company doesn't do. So even if they were aware of the potential and the success, right? Like they're not going to make a big deal and lean into the importance of gaming and the potential of gaming publicly until they know they have a foothold in gaming. So I think it's those two things.
I think it's doubly so, that especially because of their failure with I don't even remember the name
Crucible.
of the game anymore. Crucible. It came out and then they took it back. It was so bad they took it back. That never happens. So yeah, I think they were like, before we come out and really double down on video games, let's make sure we can actually do one semi-correct. And they did it more than semi-correct. So they did a really good job with this one. So, you know, kudos to them for that.
I will read the quote from Andy Jassy, who said, games could end up being the largest entertainment category over the long haul. Andy Jassy said at a tech conference, it's a bold pronouncement for a company with almost a decade of failures in gaming, and one that just renewed its commitment to the movie business in the form of an $8.5 billion acquisition of MGM. So they bought Metro-Goldwyn-Mayer, right? So they spent a lot of money on movies, and then now he's out saying, well, gaming's going to be the biggest form of entertainment. Anyone think we may see a huge gaming acquisition from Amazon on the backs of New World success? And just to Greg's question here, I haven't seen any reports, Greg. I will say I did see that they peaked. They did hit the 1 million concurrents on Steam, which is a huge
big milestone.
Big milestone, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But anyone think?
I've bought at least $50 in in-game coins, so
already
at least
there's like
$50.
only 2 skins to buy.
I'm sitting on it for when there's something I really want. I don't have to convert cash to coin. I could just get it, you know. So
I totally do that, by the way, Jimmy. I'm like, oh, I better buy some coins so when there's something I want, I can buy them with coins. Like, the logic there, I really want to unpack sometime.
It's terrible.
But who here thinks that, you know, is he tipping his hand? Will we see a big gaming acquisition from Amazon? Anyone believe that's coming?
You almost have to say, if he's going to say something like that, that they sort of do have to then lean in. If you're trying to be a consumer entertainment business and you are making a statement that, hey, I think interactive entertainment is going to potentially be the largest part of consumer entertainment moving forward, which I think we all generally feel is the case, or if not the largest, it will be a massive competitor to linear and streaming movies and entertainment. You sort of, if you're Amazon, have to now get bigger in gaming. And I do think this little taste of success makes it a lot easier for Amazon to make a sort of strategic move, acquiring a large studio or even any studio, really, now that they have a little bit of success they can point to. And I do think it seems like this is not the first time Andy Jassy has made comments like this. So it's possible that, we got to remember he's still not even a year into his tenure as the CEO there. This could be a big strategic priority for him if we take him at his word, which I don't see any reason why we wouldn't.
What are any implications for the industry if we do believe they're going to start spending big dollars? Like, run this to its logical conclusion. Where do we see?
So what you're seeing with Amazon now is what we're hoping to see with the Riot Games IP, right? When Valorant came out, they revitalized the action FPS category, right? It was just Counter-Strike for 20 years, and now it's Valorant, and Counter-Strike is like, okay, we're gonna have to do something big, otherwise we're gonna lose our grip on this genre that we've had the grip over for 20 years at this point. They're gonna do the same thing with the fighting game community, right? Fighting games, the maximum prize pool you see is like $20,000. Riot Games is gonna enter the space, beef it up to $200,000, and then publishers like Capcom, Bandai Namco, they're all gonna have to pay attention. That's what's now happening with Blizzard and really Activision. They're coming for their throats. You've had World of Warcraft for 15 years. Cool. Now it's time to start really putting out some great content, or you're going to lose one of your biggest cash cows, right? Those are the implications for the future. It's huge. And if they can really nail down content delivery for the next 6 months to a year for New World, huge implications. It's a new era of online gaming. Like, MMOs will be thriving in a way that they haven't in a long time. So huge implications, really.
Go
ahead, Willie.
I mean, we've talked about this before, but who does Amazon buy? Like they got it. They sort of got it. Like, they can't just do this as an owned and operated studio model, because every mega player has bought other players to aggregate, right? And if they're serious about this, like the success of New World, yeah, it's amazing, but like now that New World team is on New World. You know what I mean? They don't get to go make other games. If this is a hit, they're just going to be on New World for the next 10 years. So, they don't, it's not like they have bandwidth ostensibly to go do other things, really. Like, they're going to need to buy people to scale quickly if they think this is an important space. Who do they buy?
I also wonder if they
I have a thought, but I'm curious. Lindsay, go ahead.
I also wonder if they go for a big acquisition, or if they just shift more of their own resources into gaming, because it's not like they need to acquire anyone. They have a lot of resources that they could use right now. I just wonder what the strategy will be.
It's just like, even buying the biggest gaming companies would be inconsequential to a company the size of Amazon, right? Like, even $100 billion acquisition is not.
True, but Amazon's not really been built. They haven't really been built on big acquisitions. I mean,
that's true.
Right.
We talked about this, I think, in the past, and I remember Googling it during the live stream. Like, I think Whole Foods was their biggest acquisition, and maybe it was like 12 or 13 billion. Clearly, they have the money to buy literally anyone, but if you're buying like an Activision, you're spending $100 billion. Like, that is right. Even if you're Amazon, that's a big acquisition.
Yeah, but first of all, they have the money, right? So, like, they can do it, and that's
the market cap. Yeah.
2, new CEO, new rules, right? Like, what's the best way to define your tenure and differentiate yourself from Jeff Bezos? Like, $100 billion marquee acquisition.
Well, I think Jeff hit it on the head, really, where he said, they've never really been reliant on other acquisitions to grow and really gain a customer, like a customer base that's loyal to them. And I think the way that they approached games in coming for the top dog in World of Warcraft and the MMO genre, which if you pitched that now, I feel like a lot of people would point to declining player numbers year over year for World of Warcraft and be like, why would you pitch this sort of game in the year 2021? Whereas they came into it confident in this idea and the execution of it. And we're like, no, we're going to go straight for the neck. We're going straight for the top. It's either going to work or it's not. Whereas with Crucible, it really just didn't work at all. They pulled it out and they tried it again and they hit it out of the park this time. So I think to Jeff's point, I don't think they will really go looking for that huge acquisition. And to Lindsay's point too, they might just poach individual developers and just keep building this super team that just breeds content and like quality games. And I think that's what's going to be their approach.
The only reason,
moving
so
forward.
Jimmy, I know you sort of attributed that view to me, but I'm not sure I agree with what you said that I said, because I think that a company of Amazon scale, no, I wasn't trying to say that as like a gotcha. A company of Amazon scale, like just hiring a few developers, like that's not going to move the needle. I think if they want to actually do this, I think what William said, like they sort of have to do something big to even move the needle. Like hiring another 1,000 developers, like that's not going to do anything for Amazon. They need to, like, if they actually think this is a strategic priority and Andy Jassy wants to make this like a pillar of the future of Amazon's consumer business, they need to do a large acquisition to really move the needle.
They basically, I mean, I don't know what you guys think. I think they basically can either buy Riot or Activision Blizzard, right?
Why not EA? I like the EA tie-in with sports and what they're trying to do with sports on Twitch.
It's a very good
It's a
point.
good point.
Potentially.
They're also doing a lot with sports in terms of license. Like I think they're trying to get, maybe this is what you're referring to with sports and Twitch. They're trying to get NFL deals, like licensing deals.
Yeah.
That's what you meant.
Oh,
I agree. The problem is, just from a financial perspective, it's really hard to take those games and then only put them on one platform, which I guess Amazon arguably wouldn't do, but maybe they would create their own platform. I guess that's more of an argument for why Microsoft can't buy EA, which I'm realizing as I'm saying it. But yeah, EA is an interesting one.
I think they'd go mobile. I don't think they'd buy any of these studios. I think they'd go mobile. I think
that's possible too.
I think Amazon's only competitor, or one of their top ones is Apple, right? I'm sure you guys all saw the IGN story about how much Apple made on games in 2019.
Check out Meta Daily.
That was a mobile play. That's where I saw it. It was your story, Jimmy. And when I look at who Amazon wants to compete with, as well as how they can compete, and the fastest way to compete, because they're well behind the curve here, is if I want to get into gaming and I want to do it in a big way, like we're talking about a major acquisition, I'm going to go mobile, because that's going to put me in front of more people faster than anything else. So
I like that thought. Jimmy, perfect opportunity. Plug the daily news thing. I'm gonna read some comments here, but where can people watch that and what is it exactly?
Absolutely. So if you're interested, which you should be, head on over to IG, TikTok. You can go to LinkedIn. We're on LinkedIn as well. Really, any social platform you're choosing. We've got a YouTube Shorts account. There's a Twitter account on the way. Metaverse TV, right? Everything. Your one-stop shop for everything gaming, esports, anything you can imagine that fits under that umbrella. So check out Meta Daily. It's our daily news series. It's about 3 minutes long. It goes out on all these platforms. It's short form. It's to the point. It'll give you what you need to know on a daily basis. That's the
love it. Let me just read these comments here. Owen says, haven't played New World yet, but it seems a lot like Ark. All my friends grind dozens of hours a week while I'm still trying to get stone items. That is the problem with these kinds of games.
Honest.
Alex says, Crucible was so hard to play with all of the issues. I mean, this is why they killed it.
They had a cat with a gun.
Maybe Amazon can use the IPs from MGM for gaming. That makes a lot of sense. Francois says, watching the BoE weekly news show while playing New World. Could you imagine a better Wednesday night? Francois, I love you for saying that. I can't imagine a better Wednesday night myself. Alex says, I wonder if when the larger streamers stop playing New World, how much the audience drops. We see games boom all the time, but end up dying out. New World will probably be here to stay, though, due to Amazon. I'm curious what you guys think, but my answer to this is the streamers never really drove New World. I don't think they first of all, they didn't even pay them to play for the launch. So New World's going to have an audience regardless of whether the streamers stop playing or not. I just don't see that having a major impact.
And think about the storylines, right? When you think of, this is referring to Juan He's comment, so I'm sorry, you read it through.
No, I'll just read it. I agree with Alex. MMO is not the popular genre in the streaming world since the entry barrier is too high. Yeah,
I agree. Entry barrier is too high, but one thing that will remain and will remain a spectator sport is the storyline 5 years from now, right? Or like 2 years from now. Who are the factions? What's going on? Who's been taking control of what land? XQC raided this guy's village in the middle of the night. Like those stories will always keep popping up, which is going to be the fun part for us on the outside.